Hello and welcome to the Gin Weekly Update for Friday, November 17th, 2017. I'm Joel Yaste. This week on the update, we have something very special, a very special guest with us, and you are in for a treat. But first, a few updates on the club. First of all, we are looking forward to and are very excited for Global Expansion Director Lee Kenny's travels and focus on global expansion. Next week, if you're in the Sydney, Australia area, join Lee Kenny for a global relaunch meeting and training, again in Sydney. This is happening all next week, next Saturday, November 25th. This meeting is free, but you must register in advance. Again, Saturday, November 25th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Sydney, Australia. Be there with Lee Kenny. This past week, our membership overview call, we were live on Facebook Live. So many of you joined us for an explanation of the benefits of the Global Information Network. Now that video is still on our Facebook page. So I encourage you, if you're on Facebook, to watch it, love it, and share it with everyone you know. And join us each and every week on Tuesday for our membership overview call. And next, our webinar for this week is from Director of Communications, Joel Yaste. That's me. This is part 2 of The Sweet Spot. When I was a kid, I had a great train set. You ever have one of these train sets where you just build and build? You connect the tracks together, right? And you put the train cars on there and you line them up and you get an engine and it runs an electric current there and it rides all around. And the fun is in building it and putting the little villages there. And it worked great. I loved it. It was nice and big. And one day at the Five and Dime, I saw a new engine. And it was shiny and pretty. It said Silver Streak right on the side. And I wanted it so badly. I think it was $15. So I saved up my allowance. And I went and I bought that new train. And I took the old train and I set it up on a shelf. And I hooked old Silver Streak to it. And it looked good going around the track. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. Every time it got to the bridge, it derailed. It really did. No matter how many times I did it. And I thought, well, maybe I need to change the tracks out there. So I changed the tracks. And it would pull the train around. It'd get to that same spot and get derailed. Well, I realized this engine isn't right for me. So I took it and I gave it to a friend. I said, you need this for your train set. And he did. He took it and it worked just like a dream. And I took the one that worked and I plugged it in and sure enough, smooth around the track. And that's kind of an analogy for where we are now. People are kind of not with us anymore. But there are people pulling the train, and it's working. And that's where we're going to hit, as a club, the sweet spot. Join me for the conclusion of this 2-part webinar from Gin. And speaking of webinars, did you see the recent webinar featuring Brian Dodge? What an amazing experience that was. If you were there live, or you saw the webinar, or both. See, if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to watch the Brian Dodge webinar right now. You see, there's a difference between information shared in the studio versus information shared live. No matter how good a speaker or a trainer is, when you're by yourself speaking to a camera, you are transmitting individual energy. When you're in a live setting, especially like the ones we have where Gin members get together, the energy and vibration becomes magnified and multiplied. It's called collective energy and collective vibration. I can guarantee that as well as Brian knows the material that he shared, it had more energy. And it has more vibration, more impact because of all of you who were in that room together. And that's why live events are so important. That's why you should be in New Orleans for our Global Leadership Celebration, January 26th through the 28th, 2018. That's Global Leadership Celebration in New Orleans, January 26th through the 28th. Join us for an epic event. And speaking of events and Brian Dodge, I have something very special for you. Brian Dodge right now speaking with us, and he's here to tell you about some very important things. Thank you for joining us, Brian, so take it away from here.
Joel, what an honor it is that you've invited me to come back and share a little time with all you Gen members. I can't even begin to tell you how much I continue to think about that moment in my life when I walked on stage with Blaine Aythorn and I looked out in the audience and saw so much talent. I felt so much love, and I was so honored to be standing there and feeling it and earning it and realizing the difference that all of us can make if we just focus on the things that matter. That's what really matters in life, is taking the time to slow down and really pay attention to the things that matter and not so distracted by all the things that doesn't really matter in life, if you know what I mean. The key is to really simplify the obvious. That's the best way I can put it. Simplify the obvious. It's obvious. Life is way too short not to be happy. So I'll never forget, this guy walked up to me and he says, "Brian, I'm having the best day ever." I looked at him and I says, "You might want to tell your face that." Happiness doesn't come from the words. Happiness comes from your heart. And what does heart allow you to have? It's love. I'll never forget, an individual came to me and says, "Brian Dodge, got a question to ask you." I said, "Okay, I like good questions." He said, "How do you spell love?" I thought for a minute. I thought, is this a trick question? And then I paused long enough to realize he was asking for my spelling of love, not how the world spells it. What is your spelling? Mine is time. Yeah, T-I-M-E. That's how I spell love. You might think, you failed in spelling class, that's for sure. What does T stand for? Together. Together. Nothing more powerful is when individuals of great talent unite together. When you're at the events with Jen, there's nothing more inspiring, nothing more powerful, and nothing that can gain more change in one's life than taking the time to get together. You might want to say, what does I stand for in time? Interested. Yeah. Interested in others. Oh, did I say that well? Not so interested in who you are, not so interested in what you're doing, but interested in what they are doing and why they're doing it and where they're going and in their story. So what does M stand for? Meaning? Yeah. Have meaning in what you do. Don't do it because somebody tells you to do it. Don't go to the event because somebody says, you need to go to the event. No. You need to find the meaning. They'll give you all the reasons to never miss an event. And E stands for energy. Yeah, energy. You bring energy home, it'll give it back. You bring energy to relationships, it'll give it back. You bring energy to Jen and its members, it'll give it back in abundance. That's how I spell love. Yep, T-I-M-E. And with love, over time, all things are possible. So much somebody like me Could have a company from New York say, we want to release your next book. In the next 5 years, we're going to be releasing 4 more books. How blessed I am. The new book that's coming out in May will be in every bookstore in the United States. I can't tell you how thankful I am, and I can't tell you how much love I feel that I get to do what I believe is my calling in life, and that's fight for family. I love when family unites. But here's what I hope in my heart to yours. I hope someday to be honored to walk back on stage, to be there and see you face to face, eye to eye, and stay long enough to where we can talk. I can be interested in you and where you're going. We can have meaning in our conversation, and I can hug you with some massive amount of energy. Joel, I think this is about what I want to cover, and I do hope those of you that watched my video, thank you from my heart to yours. Those of you who haven't taken time, do me a favor. Take time, slow down, pay attention to what's not so obvious. Pay attention to the depth of the information that I'm here to share with you. Thank you for your time today. Joel, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Brian Dodge. Very, very well said. I'll definitely take that one to heart. Time. The definition of love, time. Together. Interested, meaning, energy. Thank you so much, Brian, for your inspiration and your education. And a quick reminder, we do have a special call for those who pre-registered for Level 7. If you were in Montreal and pre-registered, look for call details this Sunday. Also, if you're a Level 6 member and you're kind of curious as to what Level 7 might be about, look for some details to be shared with you, those Level 6 members who might be interested in Level 7 next week. And a reminder for those of you in the Builders Circle who were not on our October 1st call, the Refer 3 sponsorship bonus was extended until December 31st. This is an excellent opportunity for you to share gin this holiday season. Well, that's the weekly update for Friday, November 17th, 2017. I'm Joel Yaste. I'll see you again next week.